again the articles. So these sessions, the objective is not to cover current affairs. The objective is to teach you how should you be studying, how should you think, analyze, which topics to pick up. And I deliberately keep a range of themes with me. Some on agriculture, some on women, some on education, maybe one philosophical topic I'll take up. So I try covering 2 or 3 articles in a bit more detail, another 1 or 2 articles if I can, if time permits, maybe quickly. And finally, I leave also some to you also. So if you are doing 5 or 6 articles per week, I think there's a very good range of coverage. So you can easily have, imagine, आप अगर 5 आर्टिकल कर रहे हो, 1 हफ्ते में कर रहे हो, and properly कर रहे हो, you are going to cover approximately 15-20 articles in a month. और 20 आर्टिकल बहुत होता है. The point is, right now आप कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हो. Okay, so develop this skill slowly, gradually with me. And ultimately, this also will become part of your current affairs in general also, not simply only the topics that are taught to you in a specific way. Okay? That's the objective here. So I have taken up some topics. I believe all of you have got your sheets now. Online students, have you got your sheets? I have posted it with the team. They should upload it for you. Okay, let me quickly go and check. Not yet? Okay, just allow me a second. Today's themes. I have arranged, I have 1 article on women, I have 1 article on AI, I have got 1 article on agriculture, in fact 3 articles on agriculture hai. I have got 1 article on science and ethics. Okay, so there are about 6-7 articles, issues I have picked up. Okay, so let's see what all we cover today. Achha. Now this is a time when I think all of us are aware of the agriculture issues, right? The farmers' protest, what is happening in agriculture, MSP demands jo bhi hai. So we'll have a small conversation on that, and I've picked up a couple of articles for that. My suggestion to all of you is, एक तो article साथ में रखो, and also keep a pen pencil to jot down some things that you learn. Online, am I streaming fine? Okay, Ganesh, we will quickly share it with you, don't worry. We'll give you a link there, you can download that. Before I start reading the articles, so I call these sessions as article reading sessions. Okay, because मुझे summary बताना नहीं है. I want to teach while I'm reading the articles with you. Okay. So before we start off, quickly some questions for all of you. Okay? You jot down quickly and say yes, no, whatever. Number 1, can you define what MSP is? Okay. Just tell me yes or no. Write down in the notes mein MSP definition. When I say definition, I mean exactly nice formal words mein. अगर लिखना चाहो 2 लाइन में, can you write MSP का definition or not? Simply yes or no will do. I don't want definition. That's 1. Okay. Number 2, can you exactly tell me what was the objective of MSP? देखो एक तो होता है ना कि हम ऐसी बात कर रहे हैं, talking just like that कि MSP does that. Second है formally, can you write down 3, 4, 5 points? What is the objective of MSP? 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. Again, just yes or no. All I want is, okay, are you aware of your knowledge, skills or not? Can you define? Yes or no? Okay. Can you write down objectively? एक होता है मुझे पता है और एक है लिख के बताओ मुझे. Write down the key 10-15 words that you think are objectives of MSP. अच्छा. Third, can you tell us again what are the merits of MSP and what are the demerits of MSP? And again, writing level पे. Okay, merits 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Okay, and while talking about merits, can you substantiate this? I think they are good because, okay, then give me some data, some facts. Why do you say so? And MSP, they are not good. Okay, 1, 2, 3 points with some data. Again, ये कर सकते हो कि नहीं? Yes or no? Okay. Fourth point. Okay. Does the MSP system require changes? Okay. What are the changes to be need in the MSP? Okay. एक तो change चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए? If yes, what change? Can you again tell me objectively 2 or 3 changes? This is a test on your awareness. Now, there is a difference between what you know as a content compared to somebody on the streets. आज के डेट में every person has opinion on the farmers protest. Every person. Even the lady who works at my house, even she has opinions क्या होना चाहिए. It's like almost like हटाओ, I'll become the finance minister of the country. ठीक है? But is your opinion qualitatively different or not? Is your ideas qualitatively more credible or not? That's a debate here. So ask yourself these questions. और अगर yes है, very good, you must go back and make a notes on this. अगर no है, it's an introspection point. पिछले अगर 2-3 हफ्ते से this issue is in there, now से almost 2-3 years से issue है. If you cannot write this, a statement on your awareness. ठीक है? So you have some fair idea. Okay, yes, no, जो भी है, whatever it is, it's for you to understand. Yeah, online students, we have posted the link for all of you. Please download the articles. Okay, yes, Smita, you have to watch while I'm showing the articles on the screen. Okay. So there are couple of articles you have download. Kar lena eventually. Okay, but let us take up some discussions now. It's on the chat. Just now shared, Anuksha. आपको chat में दिख रहा है? No? Why no? Okay. Can you see the chat now? Can you see? It was restricted, that's why. We have posted 3 articles just now. One on science, one on MSP, one more. There are about 6-7 of them. You can see Smita has got the sheets, okay. अरबाज, आप चैट देखो ना, scroll the chat, you'll get it. Yes, available? Okay, fine. Let's start off now. The first article I'm discussing is, this article is written by Swaminathan Ankleshwar Iyer. He writes for Times of India, and I think he is the grand old man of editorial writing. I've been reading this man for almost 25 years now. Okay, and he has his theme is called, his articles are called as Swanomics. He writes for Times of India. Okay, economy भी लिखते हैं. Okay, Swaminathan Ankleshwar Iyer, Swanomics in Times of India. So इसको article नहीं मिला, no problem, you keep watching me. Okay. My screen visible to all of you? Why Punjab model of farm bees is wrong. Okay, ये पहला article है, okay? So, and I recommend always, wherever possible, know the article and also know the writer. Because जब आप essays में हो, answers में हैं, or interview also, when you are quoting the names, it becomes more impressive. You're quoting somebody's name, he wrote and so article, your write-up becomes more credible then. So always keep a track of that, okay? Let's start off. Readers, do not sympathize with the powerful farmer units of Punjab who are on the warpath again. It's like an appeal he has. Politicians, beware of the temptation of buying farm votes through surrender just before the general election. Ever rising subsidies and props demanded by farmers have been responsible for bankrupting Punjab. Giving into farmers' demands can ruin other states too. Punjab once had the highest per capita income in India, but pampering farmers has propelled a steady decline over the 3 decades to barely all India level. Do not let farmers' units lead the rest of the country down this woeful path. Readers may be confused. Readers may be confused. They will ask, did not the government props help launch the Green Revolution and make Punjab prosperous? हमने जब Green Revolution बनाया था, किया था, we gave a lot of subsidies दिया था हमने. We encouraged farming, fertilizer subsidy, water subsidy, electricity subsidy, seed subsidy. So did not the government props help launch the Green Revolution and make Punjab prosperous? How can the same strategy now be causing its ruin? Answer is, subsidies are like drugs. In small doses, they can be stimulants that improve performance. In larger doses, they lead to addiction. Falling productivity, financial distress. S.S. Joel, Punjab's most eminent farm expert, estimated that 4/5 of the state's debt was due to free farm electricity. Free electricity encourages water-intensive crops and over-pumping of groundwater, destroying aquifers. But no government dare tell the farmers that what boosts the profits in the short run is all suicidal in the long run. Punjab is now India's most indebted country. Okay. With its high debt to GDP ratio of 48%, economists Barry Aishan Green and Poonam Gupta estimate that this will rise to 55% by 27-28. The revised financial responsibility and debt management policy aims to reduce the state debt to 20% of GDP. COVID worsened the ratios of all states, but afterwards sensible management has reduced the ratios for almost all. Punjab is going the opposite way. In contrast, Gujarat's ratio is down 20% and projected to fall to 18% of in 27-28. This leaves the state with plenty of spare revenues to invest in infrastructure, productive investment, and it has the least farm props among the least farm props among the states. Okay. Economics tells us that high farm incomes translates into high land prices. Okay. तो यहाँ तक क्या पढ़ा आपने? That please don't give in to farmers. People be aware. Politicians be aware. It is taking Punjab down the drain. What helped Punjab was Green Revolution, but at that time subsidies was most mindful. And if you keep on doing that, you'll have lost productivity and all of that. And Punjab has the maximum debts, which is unsustainable. In comparison, Gujarat has less debt, and Gujarat has more money for investments for industries. Okay? Economics tells us that high farm incomes translate into high land prices. Okay? For all their complaints, high farm incomes in Punjab have helped make farmland the most expensive in India. Close to 1 crore per acre, remote regions में 5 crore per acre near Mohali. The main reason why industries do not enter Punjab is high land cost. So we have got high farm income, so land is at a premium. Because land is costly, you can't buy land, you can't have industries. Tata considered Punjab very seriously for its nano plant in 28, but the indebted state could not afford to subsidize industrial land. Gujarat offered cheap subsidized land, so Tata went there, starting the auto hub and all of that. Punjab's chief minister complained that Gujarat's land subsidy was unfair competition, but he could not deny the freebies the farmers had deprived the state of the funds for competing. Okay? He says, farmers farmers do not see the connection between high farm incomes and lack of industrialization. They point to industrial subsidies and why farmers should not get more. The answer is industrial subsidies are small, affordable percentage of GDP, but farm subsidies are too big. Okay? So, while industries can be subsidized, he says industry में subsidy कम होता है, but farm में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. This is wrong to say industries are getting, so we must also get subsidies. Okay? Farmers seek implementation of price formula suggested by Swaminathan Commission. The MSP for crop should be 50% higher than the cost of production. This implies a net profit of 33.3% of sales. So if you have MSP, okay, 50% above the cost production, you can cancel out all the other wastages. A farmer can earn 33% as profit in sales. Is this reasonable? No, it's outrageous. Ambani and Adani have been accused of crony capitalism, but Reliance Industries' net profit is 9.4% of the assets. It is 1.6% for Adani Enterprises and 3.3% for Tata Steel. Joel remarked acidly, if Swaminathan Commission had an economist on it, he or she must have been not a very good one. So he's saying that itna zyada, okay, MSP, 50% above your cost is very, very high. That kind of profits even industries do not make. For as small as 1.6%, 9%, there are some richest people on the planet. The answer, he says, is the Committee on Agriculture Costs and Prices already considers, among other measures, a 50% of operational costs and excludes the imputed value of assets like land and machinery. So when we say that the MSP has to be 50% above the cost, what cost? The cost is wage cost, the cost is land ka bhi cost hai, rent value hai, the cost is machinery cost, the cost is fertilizer cost, the cost is seed cost. So if you say, I want to add all of this as a cost and then 50%, it says it's unreasonable. Aap cost ko alag karo. The cost is land cost, machinery cost ko alag karo, and the running costs. Running costs are called as operation costs. Okay, that I am paying for the labor, that I am paying for the seeds, I am paying fertilizers. So 50% above operational costs is fine. Okay, so the CACP considers, among other measures, a 50% profit on operational costs, but excludes imputed value of assets like land and machinery. Farmer unions want a fair return on these assets also. Unions say कि नहीं हमें पूरे पे चाहिए, 50% of total cost पे चाहिए, including the farm rent, including okay the expense for the machinery. But is 50% a fair return? Reliance returns on assets is 4.78, Adani is 4.4%. What both have, the farmers don't have, is the scale of economies. So why Reliance and Adani's can do good with small margin? Because they have got a huge scale. Okay, they can produce millions and millions of some products. Okay, but businessmen can create unlimited new factories and offices, but nobody can create new land. The average land size is 178 acres in US, 2.6 in India, land ceiling, etc. Okay. Ironically, the farm unions demand stricter enforcement of land ceilings, making a virtue of uneconomic holdings. In US, 1.2% of population is farming, yet US feeds, but yet it feeds US and exports massively. In India, half the population is in farming, but produces just 14% of GDP. Most farmers want to quit farming because land cannot provide a decent living to many. The focus must be getting on farmers out of agriculture. The focus must be, I repeat, the focus must be on getting farmers out of agriculture. That means creating more jobs in industries, in services, and in productive investment in education infrastructure. Limited resources should not be diverted to farm freebies that can bankrupt the states. Article का sense समझ में आ गया, all of you here? The article is telling us, okay, that the subsidies in agriculture are not a wise thing. Why? Because subsidies, okay, make it uneconomic. Subsidies, okay, create problems of environment, no productivity, and subsidies are also not properly thought through. MSP at very high levels, okay, is not sustainable. And आपको पैसे बचाना है for industrial development, for services sector, make infrastructure, ना कि give farmers more and more subsidies. More and more subsidies are like addiction, he says. Okay, the more you give, the farmers want all the more. And this has increased the debt, has increased the uneconomic economic systems and practices. Okay, so all of you crux here, by and large, and he's a very famous economist who is writing this article. ठीक है, idea हो गया आपको? Okay. Now I will read another article. Okay, and be alert, and you must tell me कि दोनों article में difference क्या है. Okay, this is one article, and something you have learned about essay writing in this also. I'll come back after. I'll not analyze it right now. The next article I'm reading is, okay, this article was written by Meghala Krishnamurthy, okay, Associate Professor of Sociology, Anthropology in Ashoka University. Okay, the article is MSP procurement need not be an all or nothing intervention. Okay? You all have this article, all of you? Or you can see this article on my screen. MSP procurement need not be all or nothing intervention. So if you look at, if you read again the article and the tone of Swaminathan Iyer's article, can you see कि MSP पूरा बुरा है? Remove all subsidies. MSP is, okay, is harming everything. ठीक है? ये article कुछ और कहना चाह रहा है. Let's see what it says, and then I'll come back and discuss on this. Okay? So it says, as a group of farmer unions from Punjab marched towards Delhi once again, they are braced for barricades, barbed wire, water cannons, and tear gas. The demand for a legally guaranteed minimum support price for all crops amps up a familiar policy drone, a long-standing hum of discontent that views the protester as lone beneficiaries of distortionary and unsustainable schemes that have no place in today's forward-looking, market-oriented policy climate. Okay? What she's telling us is that the protests are there, and this is one of the issues for which we are concerned. कि जो protests हो रहे हैं, they seem to be benefiting only some farmers. Okay, that the protesters are the lone beneficiaries and of distortionary and unsustainable schemes. MSP is a distortionary tool. वो price को change कर देता है. It is a tool that is unsustainable. You can't sustain it. And in today's world, okay, we need more market-oriented policies and climate policies, okay, in our economy. Okay, but then yet even as Punjab continues to irrigate and irritate policy imagination. Okay, basically bulk of the farmers' problem that we have is because of irrigation. This says, even as Punjab continues to irrigate and irritate policy imagination, far-reaching extrapolations on the promise and perils of MSP from this context alone are quite unproductive. जब आप MSP को evaluate करते हो only from the perspective of Punjab, only from the perspective of what intensive crops, then you are not doing a fair thing. मैंने पूछा ना आपको यहाँ पे पहले पूछा question, is MSP good or bad? So if you say they are good or bad only on the basis of Punjab's experience, only on the experience of growing rice and water intensive crops, it's not a good assessment. Okay. Indeed, it is predominantly Punjab specific MSP procurement system that is narrow and outdated. Yes, the Punjab mein chal raha hai, that probably is narrow and outdated. But persisting with this, we fail to consider important lessons and innovations from the MSP procurement landscape unfolding across the states and dismiss the role that a more decentralized and dynamic framework might play supporting sustainable agroecological, nutritional, and economic transitions across diverse regions. What she's saying is that Punjab mein maybe the things are a bit skewed. But if you reject MSP as a concept, then what you're doing is you're not seeing it has worked effectively in many places. MSP can become the basis of sustainable agroecological nutritional agriculture. MSP can become the basis of economic transitions across regions. It can be the basis of decentralized and dynamic framework, okay, that supports agriculture. I repeat, Punjab specific MSP procurement system that is narrow and outdated, but persisting with this argument कि पंजाब वाला खराब है, बंद कर दो MSP. We fail to consider important lessons and innovations from the MSP procurement landscape unfolding across the states. कि बहुत states ने किया है इसको, and we are dismissing the role of a more decentralized dynamic framework and so on. ठीक है? So इसे the tone is set कि ठीक है पंजाब में issue चल रहा है and एक general है कि MSP is bad. Okay, but let us see this issue a bit more deeper. It says, when farmers of Punjab and Haryana rise to demand of guaranteed MSP, they do so on the basis of half-century of long experience of continuous, unlimited post-harvest public procurement at MSP price for both paddy and wheat. Punjab जो मांग रहा है, the Punjab farmers are demanding, ये demand कहाँ से आ रहा है? The demand is coming from their historic experience, that they have been benefited by the MSP, MSP which ensured procurement for them at good prices, and they have done this for rice and the wheat, and they sold in mandi-based intermediaries and brought by FCI central pool. But this particular combination, it is this combination that makes MSP procurement appear to be such an all or nothing intervention. It is also the reason that an assured MSP at this scale and coverage remain largely limited to 2 crops and 2 states. तो MSP का जो problem है, वो MSP problem in general नहीं है. Okay, the problem we are seeing is probably in the commercial system of Punjab and Haryana. The MSP problem we are seeing is probably linked to wheat and rice procurement mainly, but बाकी जगह the thing is a bit different. Okay. More recently, some states have made use of centers decentralized procurement scheme to introduce and expand the coverage of MSP procurement of wheat. Wheat मध्य प्रदेश में कर रहे हैं, and paddy छत्तीसगढ़, ओडिशा, आंध्र and तेलंगाना में कर रहे हैं, while reducing public food distribution costs. Okay, a number of states have also have a region specific, crop specific price stabilization. So एक तो हम कुछ states में बोल रहे हैं कि सारा wheat को कर दो, मध्य प्रदेश में कर दिया. In Odisha, for paddy we are doing it. For Chhattisgarh, for paddy we are doing it. And also for, okay, in some regions, they are very, very crop specific. जैसे कि Odisha में, the millet mission has gained recognition of incentivizing millet production for nutrition security through decentralized procurement distribution. There are examples where the states are using this, okay, not just for rice and wheat. They're using this also for other crops. Okay, and some of these crops are very valuable crops. Talking about millets here. The diverse cases of limited public procurement by design, so inevitably on the ground. I repeat, there are diverse cases of limited public procurement by design, and so inevitably on the ground, implementation process have generated various errors, inclusion and exclusion, logistical lapses, seasonal political tussles with center and the state. What he's saying is that इस टाइप को जो लिमिटेड प्रोक्योरमेंट है, ओनली फॉर सम क्रॉप्स इन सम रीजन्स फॉर सम फार्मर्स, इसमें प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. देयर आर प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक्स, कहां से आएगा, कौन लेके जाएगा. द सेंटर एंड स्टेट आर नाउ टसल हो रहा है. हु द बेनिफिशियरीज विल बी. ओके, आई रिपीट, द डाइवर्स केस ऑफ लिमिटेड पब्लिक प्रोक्योरमेंट बाय डिजाइन. हम जानबूझ के हम बोल रहे हैं ओनली फॉर सम अमाउंट आई विल टेक, एंड सो inevitably on the ground there are implementation processes have generated errors of inclusion, exclusion, logistical lapses and seasonal political tussles between center and state. But importantly, these initiatives provide fertile ground to observe and the significant local and regional effects the substantial but limited procurement can have on the price of farmers receive. Says, agar bhi problem hai, ek acha experiment hai to see what effect this can have. It's a good experiment to see what kind of benefits we can have and what challenges we can have. They also demonstrate the speed and scale with which states can put in place decentralized, context-specific public infrastructures and systems across villages and diverse market sites. So for a long time, the MSP was controlled by the center. Okay, you have a CP which is doing all of this. Now, states are doing it at their regional levels. Yes, gadbad ho raha hai in some places. The problems of tussles, some people are included, some excluded, but this is a good experiment to run. And more important, tells us that some of this can be done at the state level without the center taking all the burden. Okay, a critical lesson is that MSP procurement need not be seen as antithetical to functioning of dynamic agriculture markets. ये जो idea है ना, that MSP is completely distortion, ऐसा नहीं है. Okay, MSP is a very nice tool and it can help dynamic agriculture markets. MSP policies can be designed and implemented as a pathway to market development and safeguard and stabilize mechanism in volatile markets. जहां पर prices बहुत fluctuate होता है. Think of petrol. The fact is, yes, petrol is now more into open pricing, but फिर भी हम कर रहे हैं control some amount. Or think of the way we manage the loan rates. Okay, it's not entirely controlled by the market demand and supply alone. So MSP is a very nice tool to control the volatility, to control, okay, maybe certain unforeseen changes. It can be a very nice tool to design which crop to grow where. Okay, MSP procurement need not be seen as antithetical to the functioning of the dynamic agriculture markets. MSP policy can be designed and implemented as a pathway to market development. MSP से आप market develop करा सकते हो. Okay, as a safeguard and stabilization mechanism for volatile markets. It doesn't imply the state control of commodity markets, okay, via universal procurement or by policing every transaction. MSP का मतलब ये थोड़ी है कि the state will do everything. Okay, it does not mean that blanket I'll control everything. Okay, its effectiveness depends on understanding what MSP is and is not. MSP is a price support system. MSP is not an income support system. I find it's a very powerful word here. Okay, maybe the farmers are agitating to convert MSP into an income support system. Okay, rather it should be an instrument to control the prices. Oh my God, Ricky Kumar. But पढ़ते हैं, okay, these kind of questions I do not know what to say. Is 15 months enough to get single digit rank if I start from zero? Okay, Ricky, it all depends how big is your zero. Okay, zero का मतलब समझ में आना चाहिए. और and these kind of questions tell me, okay, sometimes we must grow up also. Okay, so yes, everything is possible, but let us focus on this one. Okay, is it possible? Absolutely. Okay, I am planning to go to moon sometime next year. Okay, only matter of befriending Elon Musk. Okay, I'm trying. Let's see. Okay, hope I. अभी wheat rice कर लेते हैं पहले. Okay, I hope you got the essence, all of you here. That MSP. Okay, MSP. I mean, look at the article now. Article is not about that MSP procurement is not all or none. कैसा नहीं है कि रखना ही रखना है, हटाना है पूरा हटा देना है. Looking at a policy where we can start some bit of managing, okay, some crops, some region, and MSP is not always a distortion. You can use MSP to build markets. You can use MSP to control volatile nature of some of the products. And MSP should not mean the state is controlling everything. Okay, otherwise, एक और article में लिखेंगे, it will become something like nationalization of agriculture. कि गवर्नमेंट सारा खरीदेगा और गवर्नमेंट ही बेचेगा. We don't want that, right? Okay, let's move on. Depending on the region and commodity, where market prices generally prevail well over MSP, जहां पर market price MSP से बहुत ऊपर है, okay, it can still function as non-distortionary floor price in regular auctions. Now, market price काफी high है, okay, वहां पर MSP will not change the dynamics, right? MSP will give you some amount of basic guarantee, okay, where mandi prices also serve as benchmarks for exchange rates, exchange outside. So, जहां पर market price ऊपर है and you are setting an MSP level, the MSP can give you a benchmark. It's like, you know, say the salary of a person in a company is say 50,000 rupees, and the government says that minimum salary should be 20,000 rupees. Okay. What this can do is it can set a benchmark for all other companies and regions कि भाई 20 is a benchmark. Okay. So यहाँ पर MSP को change नहीं कर रहा है. Okay. MSP is guiding you कि इस नीचे नहीं होना, and market says 50,000 is there, you can buy there. Okay. So MSP का एक काम क्या है? So I'm pointing it out. MSP एक काम क्या है? MSP can be, okay, used for stabilizing the markets. MSP can be used for developing the markets. Okay. MSP is a price support. MSP is not always distortionary. MSP can act as a benchmark. That's how. If I ask you, tell us how MSP helps develop a market, because MSP will give you a benchmark. Okay. In other cases, so oil seeds and pulses may, okay, limited but significant post-harvest MSP procurement can serve the purpose of incentivizing production for ensuring local and regional price support stabilization. जहां पर prices बहुत high है, MSP can stabilize, can become a benchmark. जहां पर prices कम है और हमें ज़्यादा चाहिए, I need the farmers to produce more pulses, there MSP can be an incentive. Okay, so MSP as a tool can do many things. It can incentivize कि farmers grow नहीं कर रहा है oil seeds, a bit higher MSP above the market price, let's encourage production of the oil seeds. The MSP can also be a tool for incentivization. Okay, this is another point here. Incentivization. 5, 6, it can be incentives. This should be done, but this should be done by strengthening agro-commercial systems, enabling regional processing and trade to expand. And for a set of agroecological, sustainable, nutritionally rich crops, decentralized procurement distribution can be redesigned and enhanced, providing production support मिल सकता है, an assured market to producers while improving diet and transition from food security to nutritional security. One is, some crops can be incentivized and some crops must be encouraged for social development. I need to have more of nutritional crops. I need to ensure that the farmers also have good health. So look at the benefits of MSP. MSP is not always a distortionary tool. MSP is not always unfair. The debates about MSP good or bad should not be limited to rice and wheat production of Punjab and Haryana alone. There are examples where MSP have been used by other states. MSP has been used to procure crops other than rice and wheat, and MSP is capable of market development, stabilization of prices, incentivize certain type of crops, can also give us some benefits by growing nutritional rich crops. Now go back to the question I asked you. Tell me the benefits of MSP. मुझे 5 पॉइंट लिख के बताओ क्या benefits हैं. तो अगर रिफॉर्म करना है, आप क्या रिफॉर्म करना चाहोगे? रिफॉर्म मैं कहूंगा, now if you're looking at this much, reform is, it should become decentralized. Reform is, okay, it should be region specific, crop specific. Reform is, the states are capable of doing it very fast, so encourage them. Reform is, it should not be distortionary and can be used for some type of XYZ objectives. The answer now becomes more tight, right? Okay, let's move on. World over, farmers place demands for fair and remunerative prices for agriculture products produced on the governments. Dunya, I mean, I think I gave articles last time, right? I didn't give you that. Okay. There are enough examples of protest across the world. France में protest है, Germany में protest. I think I mentioned that to you. Yeah. So series of protests हैं. So that way we say कि farmers protesting is not a bad thing either. Okay. Farmers in this regard, the unions are doing their part. Okay. A meaningful response, now a very nice sentence. How should a government react? How should you as an educated person react and respond to this? Okay. It says, a meaningful response from policymakers must first begin with greater humility and spirit of understanding. Farmers' protest, please do not see that as a security threat. आपने सबको brand कर दिया, खालिस्तानी कर दिया. You're branding everybody as terrorists, okay, agents. You're calling them, and God knows what vocabulary are in the market. देखा जाए, every sector is guilty of some protests. Look at the bank protests. Look at hospital protests होते हैं. Teachers have gone on protest. So farmers protesting suddenly becomes anti-national. Okay. So what we understand is that farmers protesting is a global thing. And it's a fair thing. You want a demand. अब मानो ना मानो वो अलग बात है. Okay. And what we must do is, the response must be more humility with more understanding. But the question of MSP also deserves far greater conceptual clarity than a much more ambitious, cooperative, calibrated, agile approach. I love these words. Conclusion में ऐसे words आते हैं. We take the discussion to a next level. कि be more humble in response, be more understanding in response. Okay. MSP को we must understand at a conceptual level. Simple thing. MSP is not a income support. It is a price support. It's a very deep understanding. And our response must include ambitious, cooperative, calibrated, सोच करना पड़ेगा कब कितना करना है, an agile approach. If taken seriously, it offers a real opportunity to learn from the past and build a new updated legal, political, policy, institutional framework that meets agroecological, nutritional, economic challenges of the present and the future. You have a sense now today? I tell you, if you can understand 3-4 articles of this kind, ना, आपका work is done. फिर आप बात भी करोगे ना, अलग level में बात करोगे आप. Okay, with facts, with examples, and you can quote a lady. Okay, Mekhala Krishnamurthy says this about the reforms required in MSP. All fine here? अब compare करो the style of writing of Swaminathan Iyer and Mekhala Krishnamurthy. एक difference है style में? Okay, what do you think? Which of this was more appealing for you? The first one, second one. The first one, अगर आप second नहीं पढ़ते, the first one looks okay. I'm appealing, don't sympathize, don't buy the votes. Okay, it is driving Punjab bankrupt. It is doing that, it is doing this. Okay, and this paragraph, I mean this article is example of how writers can play with emotions. हम बात कर रहे हैं farmers protest का. And this particular paragraph, economics tells us high farm incomes translate into high land prices. For all the complaints, high farm incomes in Punjab have helped make farmland most expensive. In India, 1 crore in remote regions, 5 crore in Mohali. The major reason why industries have not entered Punjab is high land cost. इससे क्या relationship है article का? Are you telling me that when farmers earn more, it's bad? When farmers earn more, land price increases. If land price increases, I can't buy land for industries, so खराब है. आप ये कहना चाह रहे हो मुझे? पढ़ते वक्त आप पकड़ नहीं पाओगे आप. I hope you got the point here. This is an example of a classic red herring, okay, distraction. Okay, अच्छा, farmers इतने अमीर हैं और फिर भी protest कर रहे हैं. How dare they? Okay, जो मुद्दा है, the main issue है, you're missing that. So पूरे article, and see, पहला almost एक पूरा page लिख दिया इन्होंने without any concrete data or facts. Okay, it is bad, bankrupts Punjab, they are like drugs, they are like addictions, they have destroyed the agriculture. Okay, it's like, you are giving sweeping generalizations. और compare भी किसके साथ कर रहे हो? With Ambani and Adani. I mean, if you read again the article, it's outrageous. I want to go and tell Swaminathan, retire kar lo ab, ho gaya. 25, 30 years of writing is showing in your write-ups now. Okay, this is more of emotional appeal chal raha hai. A drama, you know, this is a speech I can read in a forum. Readers, beware of the farmers' protest. It's a request to appeal to all of you. Don't fall prey. Okay, and then you're on. Data, facts, support systems. But this man uses words very smartly. He uses words very, very interestingly. और देख लगेगा बड़ा interesting article है. I hope you got the point here. Okay, so be aware of such articles. But एक perspective है. I'm not saying it's wrong completely. But when I read, okay, Meghalaya, this is more objective, no? Okay, and this does not look like trying to paint the Punjab farmers as villains. Right? यहाँ problem है, इसके लिए problem है, but don't dismiss MSP entirely. आप बोलो UPSC में क्या सवाल पूछेगा? Will they ask you, explain why Punjab farmers are guilty of the protest and what should we do? ऐसा पूछेगा क्या? What will ask you? What is the problem of MSP? What can be reformed? ऐसे पूछेगा आपको? What are the problems of agriculture and how can we make it profitable? ये पूछेगा आपको? Okay. How can, okay, what are the reasons for farmers' distress and protest and how should a government respond to it? ये पूछेगा आपको? Okay. I hope you got the point here. So this article I feel is far more balanced. एक nuance बता रहा है, with examples दे रहा है. All good, all of you? Okay. Let us read a third article again on MSP. I tell you, after these three articles, you don't need anything more in this agriculture MSP debates. बाकी सारा मसाला news है. Okay, for police is firing, not firing, हल्ला हो रहा है, and all of that is masala. You have to get out of that masala there. Okay, okay. Ganesh, yeah, very nice. This is an article. I don't have a name on this. आप Google search कर लेना. Okay, recently आया है. How to make MSP work. It's a bit longer one. हम करेंगे patiently. Okay, and you know, without a strong okay, economy teaching base. Mera interest is economy. I like economy developments. One, of course, is a professional need. Without economy, I can't teach geography. Right? But even otherwise, if you are a well-read person, or do bar pad loge na, you'll understand what the article is about. Let's see. The system for MSP has remained under pressure since it was started in 1965, especially on issues related to inclusion of crops, the formula or basis of MSP, the effective implementation, and even its enforcement. In fact, it is rather ironic that maximum protests around MSP are witnessed in region which has benefited the most from it and where it has been almost perfectly implemented. In one paragraph, पूरा history बता दिया आपको. What was MSP? When it started? What are the issues? Issues are inclusion of crops. कि कौन सा crop आप करोगे MSP में? Issues are formula, how to decide what MSP should be, how to implement it, and how to enforce it. Have we got the point here? So if I ask you, okay, tell me what are the issues of MSP? One sentence is done. These are the 5 issues of MSP. Okay, for which crop? How do you calculate MSP? And how do you implement it? Who should the beneficiaries be? Okay. The main reason for excessive focus on MSP are inefficient and poorly competitive markets. The failure of markets to evolve to meet the changing requirements of farm sector, neglect of non-price factors to raise productivity, crop income, direct and instant effect of price on the farm income. The problem is not MSP क्या खराब कर रहा है. Problem ये है, in the market, the prices are not rising or not benefiting the farmers properly. Right? The price of fertilizer has increased, the price of seeds has increased, the price of storage harvesting has increased. Okay? और demand भी है agriculture products का, but farmers उससे benefit नहीं हो रहा है. Okay? I repeat, the main, why are we focusing on MSP? Why? Because okay, of inefficient and poorly competitive markets. Okay, the failure of markets to evolve to meet the changing requirements of farm sector. When I say market, I'm talking about the economics of buying and selling. कि buying and selling में farmer benefit नहीं हो रहा है. Okay, the market systems are skewed. A market, I'm talking about Kashmir, if some of you know, a complete basket of apples sells for as less as 10, 12, 15 rupees. एक पूरा basket, which in the market sells for 200 rupiah per kg. Okay, this is the problem. The MSP, the farmer demands, the fact is the farmer is not benefiting from the agriculture trade. Okay? For almost 50 years, MSP implementation remained largely restricted to few states and to paddy, rice and cotton. Low growth in agriculture income, decline in terms of trade for agriculture and increase in farmer suicides from 94-93 to 2005 drew attention towards remunerative prices to address agrarian distress. Okay. National Commission Farmers, popularly known as Swaminathan Panel, constituted in 24, submitted its report 26, and it made a large number of suggestions and recommendations, which also include reforms in the APMC market, contract farming, land reforms, etc. One of the recommendations of the commission was the MSP should be at least 50% more than the weighted average of cost of production. Very nicely said. कि इतना सारा, so MSP में हम, or for the MSP, we are re-looking into agriculture pricing as a policy. Why? The kind of poverty we have, the kind of subsidies not benefiting the farmers, farmer suicides हो रहे हैं. It's natural and logical that we rethink on the pricing policies. And so we had the committee. So आप क्या कर रहे हो ना? MSP को issue बना के पकड़ नहीं रहे हो. You say, let us look at the problem at a bigger scale. Let's look at the entire range of problem agriculture and then see MSP क्या कर पा रहा है, नहीं कर पा रहा है. Okay? It says, farmers as well as the political parties started vying with each other to champion the implementation of MSP and so on. Okay, fine. Now, what is MSP concept क्या है? MSP was originally conceived as the floor price that protects farmers against losses. Okay, leaving some margin to incentivize adoption of improved technology and investments in farming. The level of margin to be given above the cost was left to CP and guided by terms of reference. The MSP proposed Swaminathan panel, okay, now called as new MSP, made compulsory to include at least 50% margins over the cost. The report does not mention any reason for doing so. अगर मैं पूछूंगा कि बताओ स्वामीनाथन recommendations में क्या issues हैं? एक तो पता होना चाहिए what the recommendation was. इतना ही, just reading two paragraphs I know. The Swaminathan committee was set up because there is agriculture crisis right from the first decade of 21st century. Increased suicides, low remuneration, less returns and so on. The mandate of Swaminathan was to give suggestion agriculture reforms which included many things. Contract farming भी इसमें लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पर, right? Included issues around, कहाँ गया? Huh? Last but third. Here, sorry. Yeah. So it included APMC reforms, contract farming, land reforms. One of which was the MSP reforms. I know what the committee was recommending. Okay, and now it says that it is telling us to change the pricing strategy. जो पहले CACP करता था. But why to change it? Okay, it says nothing. It does not mention any reason for doing so. This took away the power of CACP, okay, to keep MSP relevant to demand side factors and open market situation. So what does CACP do is, CACP regulates pricing keeping demand in mind. It regulates, okay, keeping changing market conditions. That's why it's a flexible thing. If I ask you, आप बताओ, why is legalizing MSP is a problem? Okay, so our answer is कि MSP was designed to basically, okay, manage the pricing in such a way the farmers get some incentive and also some profit and cover their costs. The cover the cost का मतलब है, okay, the cost can vary. Incentivize का मतलब है, the profits can also vary. So looking at the situations, we can regulate, okay, the MSPs. But when Swaminathan committee says have a blanket, okay, above 50%, that range to be flexible is now missing. Again, I go back to the first article. See MSP more as a pricing tool rather than an income, okay, tool. Okay, so the MSP demand side. The second issue, okay, is the cost concept. अब है वही है कि cost हम किस पे करेंगे calculate. There is a A2 plus imputed cost and there is a C2 cost. C2 cost में आ जाता है land and interest on the fixed capital. A2 cost is about the family labor and basic inputs. So the recommendation says कि let the MSP be above C2 cost also. Okay, which is logically margins should be calculated only on the cost incurred by the farmers. मेरे पास land है, okay, मैं land के लिए cost incur नहीं कर रहा हूं ना, but देखो नहीं इस land का nominal rent है, okay, 1000 rupees per month. I'll add as the cost also. Okay, ये tractor मैंने खरीद लिया था. अगर मैं tractor rent पे लेता, okay, I would have paid 5000 rupees per month. आप उसको भी add करो. So this is not the way to calculate, okay, your costs. You must calculate your operational costs. Exactly आप क्या incur कर रहे हो, not on the fixed assets. Okay. Farmers unions agitating to make MSP legal guarantee and to fix it, including at least 50% of the C2 margin. And their demand includes therefore two things. One, MSP, which is, so MSP as a concept justified. Second is what level of MSP. Again, I've taken a very interesting point here. That when we debate about MSP, let us not debate on removing MSP. MSP as a concept is valid. I'll go to Kavita's article. Kavita, nahi, what was the name? The lady? Mikhala Krishnamurthy's article. Okay. Yes, MSP ka advantages hai. The debate is on what should the MSP level be. I've got the point. दो article मैं link कर रहा हूं अब. What are the issues of the new MSP? Okay. The major issue arising from the new MSP concept is if demands and factors do not support the new MSP system, the system of marketing will collapse and farmers will suffer. Dekho, in anything, there's a supply-demand concept. Okay. If all things are fair, the supply-demand will balance and you get some price. Imagine I'm fixing a price irrespective of demand. Demand ho na ho. Koi kharide na kharide. Okay. The government must give me, okay, 200 rupees per kg for rice. Or koi kharid nahi raha. Okay. Lot of demand. Okay. The price in the market can be 1000 rupees. But law keh diya hai कि मैं आपसे पक्का खरीदूंगा for 200 रुपया. Understand the problem here? In the first case, okay, the farmer can exploit the government. They can go any crop, खरीदो आप legalize कर चुके हो आप. Demand हो ना हो. Second case में the government can exploit. Market में बहुत high price है, but law बना दिया इतना हम खरीदेंगे आपका. ठीक है? So in pricing strategies, the demand is a very, very important factor. So when you legalize MSP, you're ignoring the demand aspect. Okay. Without demand, you can't regulate the price. So what was CSCP doing? It was regulating the prices of the MSP based on the demand conditions, based on the open market conditions in the economy. It says the main issue arising out of new MSP is the legalized one, which they're demanding. Okay. That if the demand side factors do not support the new MSP, the system of marketing will collapse. Farmers will suffer. According legal status of MSP as demanded by some group of farmers can also be counterproductive as trade is not bound to buy entire surplus at the legal price. Trade jab hota hai, you buy as per as you need. Trade will have no obligation to buy just because you have told them to buy. This will impact trade itself. It'll impact economy itself. You can't sustain it. Okay. The trade is not bound to buy entire surplus at legal price if they find it impossible to sell the same produce in the open market. So government के पास में it's like, government क्या? Legal MSP means anybody buying it. If I legalize it, means government हो या कोई भी हो, you have to buy at that price. I am a private trader of agriculture grains. Okay. मैं इतने हाई प्राइस लेकर जब ट्रेड ही नहीं है, मैं करूंगा क्या उसका? Okay. Ultimately, I will stop buying it completely. Okay. It is argued that the government should buy this produce like it is doing for rice and wheat. If the traders don't buy, सरकार खरीदेगा. A situation that lead to nationalization of agriculture trade. Have we got the point here? So MSP को legalize करने का क्या problem है? One is you are ignoring the demand conditions. Number two, for traders where the trade can't survive without demand, it will be not profitable. Third is, if we make the government to buy at a legal price, okay, it ends up as nationalization of agriculture. Okay. Now एक और option है, ये तो option ठीक है, एक और option ये है, okay, that we can have deficiency price payment. What this means is, I have spent 10 rupees to make a produce. Market में वो बिक रहा है 8 रुपए का. Okay. I have some ways of calculating that and verifying it. The government will pay you the 2 rupees of gap. Okay. We call this as deficiency pricing system. I will not buy from you. You sell in the market itself. But the gap between your cost and the actual price, the gap I will fulfill from my side. We call this as deficiency pricing payment. This is workable, okay, but this turns out to be very costly. If there's a large gap between reference price and MSP, if the gap is huge, then it's a huge drain for us, right? Okay. Making it fiscally unsustainable. This option, however, has been offered by central government to states and some implementing it. Besides fiscal burden, the issue of DPP is that if it exceeds 10%, it is open to challenge in the WTO. Okay. If the new MSP in any form is higher than the open market price, India's exports will also get jeopardized. And you have got very nice points, no? Why legalization is dangerous. If I'm discussing the MSP, look at this. See, I tell one thing. When you study a topic, study like a teacher. कि आपको पढ़ाना है, आप कैसे पढ़ाई करोगे? So I am thinking, या बच्चे मुझे पूछेंगे MSP का क्या किया जाए? So I will study like a teacher. What is MSP? What were the objectives of MSP? How it benefited? How there are problems? What are the alternatives to MSP? And analysis of each one of them. I'm making a story out of it now. Okay. And I'll fill the content through these articles. So MSP क्या था? ये problem था, ये था. Problem क्या हुआ? When MS Swaminathan says, do all of this. Why he says this, we do not know. But ये unsustainable है. MSP if legalized, what can the issue be? 1, 2, 3, 4 issues. तो क्या alternative है? Yes, one alternative called as DPP, where we can pay the differential price, but ये बहुत costly होगा if the gap is huge. Further, if it's 10% then the reference price, even WTO sanction लग जाएगा. And if, एक और situation है, that if your prices that you're paying are really very high, it makes exports costly. You lose the global market also. You cannot detach MSP and agriculture systems from the supply and the demand equation. पूरा हटा नहीं सकते आप. You cannot make it completely nationalized systems of trade. 3 paragraph में answer is set. Okay. So now, what is the progress in the new MSP regime? Okay. New MSP regime क्या है? The BJP government accepted the recommendations of the committee and it has fixed already 50% to the A2 cost करा दिया plus some input cost of family labor. So A2 is what? The cost of seeds, fertilizers, maybe water, okay, maybe some pesticides, वो A2 cost है. उसमें हमने क्या किया, a part of family labor भी लगा दिया. Okay, but I'm not putting the cost of the land, I'm not putting the cost of machineries that I own, or nominal, they'll be presuming the cost that we have. It has done already, and since then the rice and wheat are procured at the new MSP already by the central government. Serious efforts have been made to expand coverage of new MSP to new states. Extending 23 crops across the country is humongous task, okay, and difficult for central governments alone. Therefore, there are two other schemes in place. One is the PM Asha, Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan, and price deficiency payment have offered the states. The effective mechanism has been created for implementing new MSP, but we need to expand it. So, what is MSP? What has been the issues? What has been done already? Like already हमने A2 add कर दिया है. Already I have added farm laborers. Okay, and we already have expanded to 23 crops. It is across states, but very humongous to manage. तो MSP के साथ में हमने दो और प्रोग्राम भी चला रखा है. But fundamentally, okay, we still need to work on the crops and expand it. ठीक है? Now way forward, what to do आगे चलकर. Ensuring remunerative prices to farmers is essential. Very nice. I love this sentence here. कि आपका कुछ भी डिबेट हो, अदानी है, अंबानी है, छोड़ो यार. Farmer must get his essential prices first. It's absurd comparing at that levels. ठीक है? So farmers must get their remunerative prices. Some crops and agricultural segments can give better growth through market forces, while some require government support like MSP. अब एग्रीकल्चर में हम कहां बोल रहे हैं कि सब जगह कर दो MSP. Some crops can survive on their own. Example दिया है. For instance, horticulture crops not covered under MSP have experienced more than 2 times the growth of rice and wheat in the last 10 years. This shows that the power of demand-driven factors are much more stronger than government price support in pushing growth and farmers' income. MSP is a tool that does not work on demand creation in the market. MSP as a tool does not help, okay, the natural demand-based trade. ठीक है? The most sustainable one and the more profitable ones are the demand-driven. वो हमारा हो नहीं रहा है. Okay? The new MSP has the potential to stifle such demand-driven growth. Compare this sentence with what we wrote here. Okay, पहला paragraph, second paragraph बताने यहाँ पर that the new MSP, like if the demand side factors do not support the new MSP, the marketing will collapse. हमारा, I mean, this is what is called as a structural problem in our economy. Okay, the prices. So now watch here. There's a farmer producing. The farmer sells to a trader. The trader sells in the market and the chain continues. And what a consumer buys is at a much, much higher rate than what a farmer sells for. What's happening is farmer ka production and farmers' profit incentives, these are not controlled by the actual demand factors आगे चलकर. Okay, the actual demand thing कुछ और चल रहा है. Actual demand is apples for 200 rupees, but the farmer is selling for 15 rupiya. This is our structural problem here. If there's a way of connecting the farmer to the demand actual, okay, you don't need MSP everywhere. MSP थोड़ी आपको दे देगा एप्पल फॉर 200 रुपया. MSP बनाकर 50 रुपया कर देगा. So if you can do this connection, the farmer gets linked to the demand level prices, the problem is solved. And this has been our failure. That's why we always say what we require is a market reforms. The way the produce is bought and sold. Okay? The MSP has a potential. MSP कर दोगे, ये market equation को और दबा देगा. ठीक? It is also pertinent to mention that the price policy required to balance the interest of the consumers and producers. अब ये भी fact है. Okay, if you increase MSP to levels where the buyers are now at disadvantage, फिर भी गड़बड़ है. Okay, we might have okay, 10 farmers, but fact is there are 30 buyers. I need a system which is fair for both buyers and producers both. That include large percentage of farmers as the farmers ही net consumers हैं. ये भी interesting है. I don't know where I read this one. I was discussing somewhere, maybe with you guys or wherever. The case study था शायद. Talking about chickpea. I think I discussed with you guys. Chickpea में, the example was from Maharashtra or Bengal, I forget. Chickpea is your dal, okay, and dal you harvest. If you sell the dal whole, the price is 18 rupees per kg. If you split the dal, तोड़ के पीस कर देते हो, it sells for 6 rupees a kg. And this splitting requires some bit of grinding work. Machine चाहिए, कुछ manpower चाहिए and all of that. So what's happening in some places जहाँ पर droughts हैं, the farmers have left the village. The village is now managed by the women. And women lack that capability of splitting the dal. So what's happening is, the women are growing dal, selling it for 18 rupees, and they must buy back at 60 rupees, split dal. How stupid is that, batao? So farmers themselves are also consumers. Don't forget that. So agar parity ठीक नहीं होगा, ultimately even farmers will suffer. A classic case of the market being dysfunctional. Okay? I think I did in enrichment class. I forget where I was teaching this. Anyways, if MSP includes a small margin, now this is, ठीक है, एक तो है कि MSP में consumers का भी ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा आपको. It's an essential thing. But if MSP includes a small margin, as was the case of Swaminathan proposal, it can be subsumed in the MSP. MSP is not only about the costs. MSP must also include some amount of profits also. ताकि the person is assumed, but वो margin कम होना चाहिए. Okay. However, the new MSP requires a separate treatment of the margin. Suggested the country should follow a system of assured. अब ये एक और alternative है. MSP को change करो. Let's have a system called assured price to farmers, which includes the MSP component and margin of the profit component. MSP should be equal to C2. It include some net return. Farmers should get some margin over and above the C2 cost decided for next year. The margin should be kept variable. So, अगर आप C2 add कर देते हो with margin, it must be kept variable. So the farmer saying कि आप C2 भी add करो और legalize भी कर दो. Okay, we say no. I can do a part of C2, give you a small margin, but I'll keep it variable. Okay, as per the pricing, I'll fluctuate it. Giving MSP to include 50% margin, as demanded by agitators, okay, defies all logic and turn out to fiscally ruinous. For implementation, MSP crops divide in two categories. Okay, crops for all India importance and crops of regional importance. Center should take responsibility of implementing APF for the first category. The second one should be with the states and with shared funding. यहाँ पर the other article again comes in that MSP needs to be decentralized also. Okay, the states can implement is let state procure it. उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? I'll divide the crops in two categories. Very important crops at national level and crops important for the regional level. Swaminathan panel repeatedly emphasized the need for wide range of reforms. States must study the recommendations, implement these. Farmers, MSP, farmers should support such reforms. And they were very dear to Swaminathan. Fine. So now all the three articles are there for you. Right? The first one is more jingoistic. It's a very emotionally appealing write-up, but it is weak on substance. वो कुछ भी लिख डालें. Comparing corporate and land price industries के साथ में, okay, talking about, almost farmers as criminal in their demands. Okay. Know that वो भी एक idea है जो market में चलता है, but the other two articles will establish your point. Now, having done this, now something you got to learn on this. Now so I'm teaching something to all of you here. Now in your agriculture, एग्रीकल्चर एंड एमएसपी के इश्यूज में. Okay, so what all can you add? Okay, so you have got 3 articles with you. Know the names wherever you can. Okay, Ramesh Chand. Okay. This article is by Ramesh Chand. One of you has found that. Thanks, Ganesh. How to make MSP work is by Ramesh Chand. Okay. आप क्या करो summaries में? Yeah. Okay. In summaries, what you'll do is, first is, what is MSP? 4 key words. It is a price support. Okay. MSP is part of managing remunerative incomes for farmers. MSP introduced 65-66 में, coinciding with a green revolution, and it has benefited. Okay, and MSP as of now is limited largely to 2 states and 2 or 3 crops. Okay, 3-4 points on what is MSP. My suggestion, दोनों article पढ़ो, pick up the right words from this and fill this up. What's MSP? Second, what are the problems of MSP? Okay, problems that MSP is very high already. MSP is subsidizing a few crops. Okay, MSP is for those crops has created environmental problems like groundwater depletion, problems of salinity, problems of reducing productivity. ये problem MSP का, and it is not for the entire country. में नहीं है. Okay, is a problem MSP. Then agricultural situation क्या है? Situation is that farmers are not getting proper prices. Remunerative prices नहीं मिल रहा है farmers को. Okay, there is problem where the farmers are witnessing reducing income. There are farmer suicides. Okay, all round problems है agriculture में. Fourth, MSP, however, is not the main problem. यहां से आपका शुरू होता है proper analysis. The MSP is not the main problem. Main problem क्या है? Okay, one is, the main problem is that there is a disconnect with, okay, the agriculture market conditions. Okay, the problem is that MSP is not properly priced. It's not properly priced. Okay, the MSP is not for all the states. While MSP in Punjab and Haryana could be a problem, while MSP in rice and wheat could be a problem in Punjab and Haryana, okay, but okay, there are reasons to believe that MSP can actually be beneficial if properly planned. Okay, so MSP, okay, एक तो है कि it is not accounting for the market issues. MSP has not been very helpful in pricing. It is not for all the states. Okay, but MSP Punjab and Haryana में problem हो सकता है, or maybe rice with problem, but it is successful, beneficial for other states. Now I'll give examples there. How Odisha has done, Chhattisgarh has done, MP has done for wheat. Odisha में millets procurement किया है. Even if it's a new system, the fact is we are learning from this. Okay. उसके बाद remember they talked about that MSP can set a base benchmark. क्या आ रहा है? What point? MSP can help set a base benchmark. MSP can be used to incentivize certain crops. MSP can be used for encouraging nutritional security. तो MSP की ये benefits हैं, let's not discount it. Okay. However, the next point here, that the demand of the farmers जो है, okay, so why is that a concern? वो concern क्यों है? Our point here is that MSP as a concept is fine. हमने बता दिया. A farmers का demand is on largely legalizing MSP plus, okay, ये जो प्राइसिंग का बेसिस है वो प्रॉब्लम है. प्राइसिंग बेसिस इज A2 प्लस एंड C2, राइट. यहां पर थोड़ा बहुत आप लेबर भी ऐड कर सकते हो, ठीक है. द बेसिस द प्रॉब्लम. इफ आई टेक अप C2 कंप्लीटली एंड ऑल्सो लीगलाइज इट, if I legalize it, what are the problems here? You're nationalizing the agriculture. You're not considering the demand of the crops. Trade gets impacted here. It actually can become problem where the traders can't participate. और इतने high करने से, again, what are the problems here? So what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives? एक तो है deficiency pricing system. That's one alternative. Second alternative is नया term जो assured price support. In assured price support, let us have two systems: crops of national importance, crops of regional importance. Is it okay, all of you? So आपने क्या किया ना, दो आर्टिकल को पूरा पढ़ लिया. If required, 2-3 बार पढ़ लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But this one article will give you tremendous base in any discussion on agriculture now. आपका qualitative engagement will be very, very different. ठीक है? तो recommendation होता है, what I tell students is कि when you are having a very important issue happening, wait for 1 or 2 weeks. तो ये article मैंने last में discuss नहीं किया था. I was waiting, ये तो आप बढ़ने दो. पक्का 2-3 अच्छे आर्टिकल्स आ जाएंगे. एंड देन एक बार में द एंटायर थिंग इज कवर्ड. इसके बाद मुझे पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. अनलेस एंड वंस यू नो दिस मच, पता है क्या होगा? एक और आर्टिकल आएगा ना, आई विल क्विकली ग्लैंस थ्रू. ओ आई नो दिस, आई नो दिस, आई नो दिस, आई नो दिस, आई एम डन. सो टेक्निक एक करंट अफेयर्स में है. नो दिस प्लीज. You build your base first. Build your base. Build your base has to be done through very limited and deep reading. इसमें fast मत करो. I will take 2 weeks for understanding MSP alone. 1 week to understand the Red Sea crisis. 2-3 आर्टिकल पढ़ के, मेरे से 2 weeks से मतलब है wait for 2 weeks, let the articles come in. Spend 1 or 2 weeks first, understand what's happening in Hamas. आपका अगर एक बेस बन गया, बेस बिल्डिंग is 4, 5, 6 articles per week. That's all. But ensure you are doing this for different themes. Agriculture, कभी women कर लिया, कभी फॉरेस्ट कर लिया, कभी साइंस एंड टेक कर लिया, कभी इकोनॉमी ट्रेड कर लिया, कभी IR कर लिया. Have a diverse range here. This base building requires 3-4 months of work. Your objective is not current affairs coverage, remember this. Your objective is develop a base on all issues that you are studying. इसके बाद क्या होगा पता है? Then after 3-4 months your base across 15-20 topic is done. अब लेके आओ एग्रीकल्चर आर्टिकल लेके आओ मेरे पास. I'll open the article, quickly glance through. यार I know this, हटाओ इसको. I pick up an article, oh, this is a nice point. Take out my file, agriculture wala, उसमें बस इतना ऐड करके हटा देना. So while I was reading 4 or 5 articles per week, now I will read 5-6 articles per day. Have you got the point here? But if you struggle at this level to start with, तो आप तो कर ही नहीं पाओगे cope. Your base is not enough. First we say, tell the students or tell our children, पहले चुपचाप word रट्टा मारो. A for apple, B for ball. Strengthen that first. After 4 or 5 years, then they start speaking good nice sentences and paragraph. So your current affairs reading, okay, goes through a stage. This analytical thinking, evaluating, questioning, क्या पूछा नहीं पूछा, making your notes, and if required, चलो 2 पेज नोट कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. But this is my MSP वाला summary. 3 आर्टिकल पढ़ के बना लिया मैंने. Okay, so your objective now is master this. Okay, जितने भी important, and इसमें remember 100% coverage नहीं हो सकता. Okay, but if you can command maybe 15-20 areas अच्छे से कर लिया, your pace is very fast thereafter. अब जाके पढ़ना MSP पे कोई भी article, okay, you'll do it very fast. Then you don't need line by line reading. It's like, I've read some concepts in geography across 4 or 5 books. Notes बना लिया, पढ़ा लिया, doubts clarify करा हो गया. I'm strong now. Now give me any other book to read. What I'll do is open it. I'll quickly glance through. Oh, I know this. Oh, this is a nice point. इसको add कर लो बस. The first book reading took me 3 months. Now I can finish off 1 book in a day. That's how your speed reading happens. All good here? Okay. Now a few discussion on, back again. Now a few discussions on the style of writing. What are you learning from the style of writing? Online students, are you all participating, listening to me? So please, after the class, spend time on all the 3 articles again. Dobara padho, make your jottings, make your notes. Like you are now one of the experts in what MSP should be like. And you are done. Okay? Okay. Now the style of writing. I've explained the style of the writing of Swaminathan, okay, Iyer ka article, okay. ये एक typical emotional appeal वाला article है, okay. But look at the other 2 articles, okay. So the article of this lady Meyakala Krishnamurthy, this article starts with just a minute. Okay. Now this article starts with describing an event. Okay, the event is the farmers are marching towards Delhi, barricades, barbed wires, for water cannons, tear gas, demand for legally guaranteed. So the event is starting. Whereas the article of Ramesh Chand starts with a conceptual understanding of an issue. What is MSP? When it started? What was the need of MSP? Okay, what are the issues here? So you can start an essay as an appeal, readers beware types. You can start an essay with an event. Okay, कोई भी issue topic में ना एक event पक्का होगा. You can begin from there, or you can make it matter of fact beginning also. Okay, and all the three articles, you will realize, they end in a higher appeal. In this, okay, the higher appeal of Swaminathan was, okay, limited that you need money for infrastructure. Don't waste the money in subsidies. Limited resources should not be diverted to farm freebies that can bankrupt states. एक higher plane में खत्म कर दिया. Okay. How to make MSP work? Okay. End में the suggestion. Okay. Let's have an assured price support of farmers. And going back to कि भाई ultimately farm reforms are important. Don't just limit yourself to okay MSP alone. Okay. And look at the ending of okay Mehkala's article. It ends on what should be the approach of solving the farmers' crisis. Be humble, be understanding, be agile, cooperative, calibrated, agile approach. Okay, and a system which is agroecological, nutritional, economic challenges. Okay, you can handle of the future. So, and in all the three articles, you can see a flow in the write-up. And all the three give you some examples to become credible. Okay. The first article talked about some data about kitna land kahan tha, nahi tha, what is the agriculture income, GDP and debt ka ratio kya tha. They give some data to make their article more credible. So in your essays writing, these are some important tips. Your beginning of the essay or write-up. How to end an essay. The end can be a solution. An end can be like an appeal. The end can be more profound. It can talk about a bigger wisdom. The beginning of the essay can be contextual. Koi event se link karo. The beginning can be made dramatic. The beginning can also use certain conceptual detailing. That's your choice how you begin. और हर essays में, हर write-ups में, give examples for credibility. Give data for credibility. Okay. There is a logical flow in how you develop the essay. Take all of you? Okay. Fine, let's move on. A very different article I'm taking up. Oh, it's already 5. ठीक है. I overestimate sometimes what I can do. ये article I picked up from the Hindu, written by Salil Sahadevan. ठीक है? Salil Sahadevan, who is a deputy secretary UGC. ये सब civil services वाले हैं. ठीक है? The article's name is Decoding Complexity. Like, I will read the article. क्या है नहीं है वो समझ में आएगा while I'm reading the article. Decoding Complexity. And then you must tell me आप इसको use कैसे करोगे. Okay? 11 minutes. A very powerful beginning, you know. दो word लिख के छोड़ दिया. Stop. I'm keen, I want to go on. इसको hooks बोलते हैं. Okay, writing word sentence which catch the attention of a reader. 11 minutes. That's the attention span of an average student. हम बैठा देते हैं 3 घंटे. Okay, fine. So for me it is okay 11 into multiple okay equal to 3 hours. इतना बार I have your attention. Wow. To cope with this, instructional designers and content creators break down information into bite-sized pieces and quick answers in the name of making learning easier. Basically, Instagram की बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? TikTok Reels की बात हो रही है. 11 minutes is the attention span of a student. So what we are doing is, instructional designers and content creators, okay, in my language they are infotainers. They break down information to bite-sized pieces, quick answers in the name of making learning easier. Learning to focus is not the only skill needed in the age of flashy videos and endless notifications. आपको सिर्फ सिलेबस और कंसेप्ट नहीं सीखना है, आपको कैसे पढ़ना चाहिए वो भी सीखना है. Okay? Learning to focus is not the only skill needed. Okay? One of the most underrated skills is to appreciate the value of complexity. Now, this article is very close to what I speak. Okay? When I say, no, your learning must have interconnections. Link karo. Your learning must include appreciation beyond the obvious. What I was trying in the 3 articles. If I was a regular content creator, मैंने आर्टिकल पढ़ के समझ के लिख देना, बुलेट में लिख देना, and I give it to you as my material. But sitting down, thinking, evaluating, and appreciating complexities. कि कितने linkages देखो, MSP, look at the complexities we identified, right? Complexities in terms of pricing, in terms of, okay, the relevance, in terms of, okay, what's doing for the debts, in terms of issues of agroecology. ये complexities हैं. But can you appreciate this? MSP, yes or no cannot be an answer. Okay, yes in some case, okay, that ways. In a world where everything is expected in neatly ordered packages, we shy away from complexity, problems of complexity. Okay, it is natural to seek clear-cut answers and simplified narratives, but such an approach to learning ends up in filtered reality. जो आप पढ़ते हो ना, कुंजियों से पढ़ते हो, booklets you read, they are filtered reality. Okay, you are reading the interpretation of somebody, not reading the article itself. Okay, convenience is favored over meaningful learning. Most real-world scenarios are inherently unpredictable and complex. So let's see what our system of education is doing. हम बच्चों का ना पढ़ाई आसान कर देते हैं कि I will give you the notes. You don't have, I will give you synopsis to you. You don't have, मैं लिख के दे देता हूं आपको आंसर, आप रट्टा मार लो. We're doing that, right? वो भी नहीं हो पा रहा है, कोई बात नहीं. Okay, एग्जाम मत दो, right? Exam is tension. What we'll do is daily assessment करेंगे. Okay, मार्क्स भी नहीं देंगे आपको, A1 A2 करके छोड़ देंगे आपको. गुड बैड अगली बोल, और अगली तो बोलना ही नहीं है. वैसे अगली आई एम okay liable for probably imprisonment. What am I doing? I'm not teaching a child to face the real life challenges. क्लासरूम में आपका लाइफ आसान कर दिया. सर सिर्फ नोट्स हो जाएगा? हाँ पक्का हो जाएगा. किताब पढ़ना कॉम्प्लेक्स है ना. Have you got the point here? इतना ही पढ़ लूं? हाँ पढ़ लो. करंट अफेयर्स छोड़ दो यार. Okay, लाइफ सिंपल हो गया. But the moment I say add current affairs, it becomes complex now. So as a process, what we are doing is, okay, convenience is favored over meaningful learning. So most real world scenarios are inherently unpredictable and complex. I have used the word earlier. World is VUCARD. ये term use किया पहले मैंने आप लोगों के साथ. VUCARD is, world is volatile, okay, world is uncertain, world is complex, world is ambiguous, and the world is diverse. हमको सब यूनिफॉर्मिटी चाहिए. एक फॉर्मूला बता दो, सब में लगा दूंगा मैं. Give me one introduction, I'll apply everywhere. Okay, but reality is world is diverse. So when I'm teaching children education में, I need to get them to prepared for complexities in life. World, VUCARD, VUCAD. VUCARD is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and it is diverse. VUCARD. Okay. What does being complex mean? Okay. How is it different from being complicated? What is the role of simple and simplistic? Complexity is not about jargons and equations. You know, कोई concept है. If I explain that through equations, through verbose language, okay, through complicated arguments, I have made the issue complicated, okay, but not appreciating complexity. आपको करना है क्या? You must take up a complex issue, study it, okay, and then simplify it for understanding. So complexity is not same as complicated. Okay, education should not be about jargons and equations. Okay, complexity is not chaos. Complication is chaos. The underlying order, even if it's tricky to see. See, I was trying that with you guys. I took up an article that I taught about agriculture and I tried finding a link in the story. Okay, कि पहले ये बता रहा है, फिर ये बता रहा है, फिर ये बता रहा है, then this one. This linkage is what we need in our study systems. Not isolated, disjointed appreciation. Okay, so there is an order, even if it's tricky to see. Is understanding the interconnections that make the world move. It is a dance of parts as in ecosystems or a well-orchestrated symphony. In contrast, complicated suggests tangled mess, okay, like a knotty rope or a man-functioning gadget that can be fixed with effort, but where the results is predictable. So your learning, okay, your education has to be appreciative of complexities, interconnections, but not complicated as chaotic, lacking a story or lacking an order. Okay. To make complex things simple and understandable, a difficult task that requires a lot of clarity. ये important है. आपको clarity चाहिए. What is MSP? The clarity. What was it made for? Clarity. Exactly what were the recommendations? That's clarity. What can we do? What we cannot do and why? That's clarity. Not trapping ourselves in series of words, languages we can't understand eventually. Okay? We need clarity. Paradoxically, those efforts begin from appreciating the complexity of learning material. Ask an accomplished learner in any field, they will likely recount sailing through complexity to reach the current clarity of thought. So, आपको घुसना पड़ेगा into complexities, unravel it patiently, or eventually it will become easier. ये कहाँ use करोगे बताओ? Where can you use this write up? और the wisdom कहाँ use कर सकते हो? Obvious कहाँ use कर सकते हो बताओ? Education reforms. I can use this in discussing social problems of the country. Right? I can use this to appreciate issues like MSP, जिसमें इतने complexities हैं. Right? So learning systems में we need, life में हमें चाहिए. Life must appreciate complexities. It is not either or. सर मैं पढ़ाई करूं या घूमने जाऊं. It's not either or थोड़ी है ये. पढ़ाई करते रहो, जरूरत पड़े घूमने चले जाना. Okay. सर मैं रिवाइज करूं कि नया पढ़ूं. Complexity दोनों करते रहो. नया भी पढ़ते रहो, रिवाइज भी करते रहो, भूलोगे दोबारा करो उसको बैठ के. So in every sphere, I can use this as a wisdom. Ethics paper, essays paper, interviews, education reforms, women issues. Women issues are complex. We appreciate that. Okay? Now, this was interesting. Simplicity will remain the ultimate sophistication. Familiar है? कुछ सुना है आपने इसको? Anybody knows this? This was the topic of last year's essay. इस sentence में essay लिखना था आपको. And this statement was used by Da Vinci. Okay, the simplicity is ultimate sophistication. Go on the YouTube, type my name, Edukemy, and this topic. I have a small discussion on this on the YouTube. ये last year के essay topic था. So आप जो पढ़ाई कर रहे हो ना, okay, सिर्फ facts दे दो. You can't answer the essays of this kind. You have to expose yourself to readings beyond the factual ones. ये wisdom वाला reading है, correct? This was the topic. Simplicity is ultimate sophistication. This was the topic. लिखो इसमें कितना लिखना है? 1000 वर्ड लिखना है, 10-12 pages लिखना है. I hope you got the point here. UPSC is very clear. IAS examination is not employment generation. आपका अधिकार जॉब पाना नहीं है, आपका अधिकार है एग्जाम दे सकते हो. But we want the best students, best aspirants to qualify, because आप देश चलाओगे. CSAT मुश्किल हो गया, come on, मुश्किल हो गया, people have qualified, right? Okay, ऐसा कोई बंदा है कि मिला ही नहीं उसको पास मार्क and he has got it? No, I am upping the level, okay, and people are qualifying. You can't whine, complain, rant. Okay, सिस्टम खराब है, ये खराब है, वो अलग इशू है. यूपीएससी का काम अलग है. Okay, analytical questions, they're raising the level of the debates and discussions. You have to catch up there. So your qualifying will not depend on आपने कोर्स खत्म किया है कि नहीं. It requires some depth of reading and understanding. Yeah. On the other hand, being simplistic means you are falling in danger of oversimplification. Simplicity is not same as simplistic. Simplicity is uncomplicated, good clarity, okay, conceptual understanding. Simplicity is without jargons and complicated words. Simplistic का मतलब है आपने सारा हटा के एकदम bare, minimum, the least important issue पे focus कर रहे हो. Simplistic something is you have removed the layers of the beauty and make it very, very mundane. ठीक है? So simplistic means you are falling into danger of oversimplification. Okay, it's like, you know, इसके बाद एक और article, I hope I have time for that. If I ask you कि AI के क्या problem है? Okay, AI problem, loss of jobs. AI problem, man can't control. AI problem, maybe okay, we can't keep pace with something. AI problem, misuse हो जाएगा. जब ऐसे 4 point बोलते हो ना, it is very simplistic. Like MSP का क्या problem है? Sir, unrealistic fiscal problem. क्या problem है? Sir, it's unreasonable demand हो रहा है. क्या problem है? Sir, it is very high debt. फिर लग नहीं रहा है कि आप समझ रहे हो issues. So simplistic is oversimplification, which leaves out the richness of the skill and strips away the depth of learning. We are doing this in our education system. हम syllabus छोटा कर देते हैं. Okay, so we are not helping students at all. They'll come out as morons. उनको पता ही नहीं होगा. Okay, it's like, you know, बच्चे पास नहीं हो रहे हैं तो पास मार्क ही गिरा दो. That's our solution. पास नहीं हो रहे हैं और स्ट्रेस हो रहा है, एग्जाम ही मत दो यार. Right? The technique should have been, don't lower the bar. Train the students to cross that. Don't lower the bar. Train the students कि if you fail, how do you cope with it? हम वो नहीं करके we are having very simple solutions. I hope you got the point here. Okay, it says many rate the severity of climate crisis at 10 on a 10-point scale, while the personal response remains below. Okay, like कितना बड़ा problem है climate change? Okay, 10 out of 10. तुम क्या कर रहे हो? Negative -1 probably. Okay, we need large-scale actions that grasp the complexity of actors in such challenges. Okay, forms. Okay. As every academic discipline is an adventure in complexity, the ability to appreciate complexity leads to meaningful learning experiences. How can we embed complexity into education without overwhelming students? ये हमारा challenge है कि कैसे education में हम add करें complexities without scaring the students away. Okay? Could a butterfly flapping its wings vigorously in a remote part of India a tornado in California? Okay. It may happen according to chaos theory, a concept in the study of complex systems. It's about how small changes or tiny actions can lead to unexpected results in complex systems. Systems thinking is a prominent way that learners can apply to understand complexity. The world is full of systems and everything around us, from the classroom to cosmic, connects complex yet fascinating ways. Another way is abstraction. Okay, so how can you bring the complexity studies is, number one, use systems approach. Okay, where you talk about appreciating linkages. That's one way of teaching complexities. Okay, by linkages, appreciate even small changes in one part, okay, can lead to change somewhere else in a very big way. I don't know if you know what's the meaning of the butterfly effect. इसके बहुत misconceptions हैं. I mean, write down somewhere and go back and research on it. What is butterfly effect? So actually, I forget the name. He was doing computer simulations, and was simulate कर रहे थे. He found that the graph of the impact looks like a butterfly's wings. Okay, ऐसे कुछ एक variation बनेगा. It looks like butterfly wings. Okay. Then it says कि this is an example of butterfly flapping with a massive consequence. He actually was studying that if I do some changes in Amazon forest, how it impacts the systems in US. वो ये पढ़ाई कर रहे थे. And when doing that, he found that the changes look like butterflies. Butterfly का graph लग रहा था. Then it became a story that a butterfly flapping the wings in Amazon can cause tornadoes in the US. The tornado simulation tha na, it looked like a butterfly wing. So now it has become like a folk, you can say, an analogy. That can a butterfly flapping its wing in a remote part of India impact tornadoes in US? वो इसको use कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर. So the essence is small changes, small tweaking at the grassroots can create huge impact. This we appreciate by systems concept. कि सब कुछ सबसे linked है. Everything is linked to everything else. That's one way of getting complexities. The geography linked to economy, linked to social issues, linked to polity, historical linkages hai. Appreciate that all is linked. Another way is abstraction use karo. Okay, essence from the chaos. जब पढ़ते हो उस पढ़ाई का निचोड़ निकालने की कोशिश करो. The abstraction. What is the wisdom behind? So if I remember the articles of MSP, the wisdom was don't dismiss the idea called MSP. A very important tool. It has served us. It needs reforms, but we need to do something else for it. The wisdom is don't dismiss farmers' protests. Okay, the governments must be more agile, more strategic, more understanding in solving the problems. My wisdom was, I understood, is that MSP is a pricing tool, but the pricing tool, if it distorts the demand conditions, it will no longer be viable. Agar main nichod nikal liya na, my work is done. So, teach systems approach to students. Teach abstraction to simplify the summary of what you're reading. Abstraction helps students focus on the essentials. You know what? The synopsis writing is like abstraction. कि आपको पढ़ाई कर दिया 3 घंटा 2 घंटा, अब निचोड़ निकालो उसका तुमने क्या पढ़ा है. And do it as many times as possible. Okay? So it helps focus essential concepts. At first, concepts may appear messy, but with exploration, we understand interconnectedness holistically. Skills of abstraction make complexity manageable. It's like using a map as a guide to guide a guide to a new terrain. The stories lure our attention towards meaningful knowledge. Skills of abstraction allow us to grapple with complexity. While many think trigonometry is difficult, example diya unhone. The real problem is we think of the topic as a dry collection of formulas devoid of practical use. Or we fail to present the abstraction involved in the subject in concrete useful ways. Once you're familiar with the abstractions used in trigonometry, how energy or shapes dance in physics, okay, how we build bridges and navigate stars, learning takes a new turn. Engaging with diverse material, narrative, enhance cognitive flexibility and so on. And the sweet spot, देखो ये headings very interesting होते हैं. The headings draw me into reading. कि आगे क्या बोलना चाह रहा है. Okay? Complexity, complicated and simple is attracting me into something. possible tools how to do it. Okay, then the sweet spot. If you do not learn to appreciate complexity, history will always be learned like good people versus bad people. Beautiful. History is not simply the fight of good versus evil. ये king अच्छा था तो जीत गया. Okay, ये king was the evil man, he lost. It's very simplistic, right? Okay. If you don't understand complexities, history will always be learned like the good people versus bad people, thereby ignoring the beauty that makes a subject interesting. It will also lead to simplistic learning, a case of shallow education. The next time you struggle with a new skill, remember to appreciate its complexity. See good abstractions, search for diverse perspectives, encourage questions over answers, and explore connections over isolated facts. Where is the sweet spot of balance between understanding complexity and making things simple? Complex enough to pique interest, abstract enough to keep focus, and deep enough to satisfy the curious mind. Beautiful. I want to use this in many places now. मैंने ऐसे पैराग्राफ उठा के लिख लेना है. Like education, I mean, I can use it anywhere. Education should be complex enough to pique interest, means to incite interest. ये पढ़ के लगे interesting लगे. Abstract enough to keep focus, and deep enough to satisfy the curious mind. The human mind by nature is very curious. हम अपने आप को दबा देते हैं because of lack of patience or lack of a process. Slowly, gradually build yourself into the systems of appreciating complexity. All good here? These kind of essays and write-ups are very important for you. ठीक है? I know it's 5:30. I want to start one article. Okay, then I'll leave it to you. ठीक है? I know it's a longer one. हैं तो बहुत सारे, but ठीक है. ये आप अपने आप देख लें, if you can see this. The good, bad, and sometimes ugly. This essay is about, is science good or bad? Okay. Oppenheimer, okay, he made the nuclear bomb, good or bad? To make the nuclear bomb, it was Einstein who wrote to Roosevelt, make the bomb because Nazis are making the bomb. And then Einstein says this. He says here, Einstein wrote back, I committed a grave mistake in my life and assigned the letter to Roosevelt to initiate atomic bomb program. These are very nice stories to build your answers around. Is science good or bad? Is science ugly? Okay? And I like this reference to, okay, Thiruvalluvar's, okay, Tirukul. It says the book is about teachings on virtue, on wealth and love, and are considered as the greatest works of ethics and morality. If I was in your place, you know what I would do? I would buy an abstract summary of the book from somewhere. Net mein mil jayega pakka. Read it and map the content with the ethics paper syllabus. अगर कोई किताब में ethics है, morality है, virtue है, wealth है, love है, it's relevant for ethics paper and also for essays paper. When I quote examples, I'll say, okay, Thiruvalluvar says this. This essay itself is an example of the struggle between, okay, good and bad. America making a bomb and competing with, okay, Germany making a bomb. Was it good or bad? अगर अमेरिका नहीं बनाता तो जर्मनी बना लेता है, and God knows what would happen then. Okay, that's how you can probably, okay, anyways, come back here. A question I asked you in the beginning of the session was, what do you think, is artificial intelligence good or bad? आपके कुछ आंसर पक्का होंगे, ठीक है? One. Number two, should a society be based on meritocracy or not? Yes or no? Yes, no doubts here. What is the meaning of merit-driven society? का मतलब क्या है? Those who are doing good, encourage them, reward them. Okay. If you are a good student, you must be rewarded. If you are working hard, you have a merit, you have skills, promote them, correct? So meritocracy is a very important thing that we talk about. And have you heard about this issue when you're comparing with reservation? एक बहुत debate है कि reservation compromises the meritocracy of a society. People who are not deserving in terms of skills are getting promoted. I'm sure all of you heard. Okay? Now let me read this article and let me ask you what you think after this. Fine? It's a very deep article. Okay? And I'll suggest go back and read it 3-4 times. Okay? ऐसे articles मिल जाएंगे ना, आपके debates change हो जाएंगे. And this article is important for GS paper 2, important for ethics, important for governance issues, important for essays and even interview. See what it says. Online, are you all with me? Are you guys tired? You dare say that to me, okay? मेरा तीसरा session चल रहा है. Okay, continuously for almost 3-4 days. Anybody tired? Oh, yes, that's nice. Not tired, we can continue. No? Good, nice. Okay. Okay. So the topic is, recalibrating merit in the age of artificial intelligence. The article written by Aditya Sinha. Okay. ये सारे bureaucrats हैं यार, you know. If they are thinking like this, you know what a competition is ultimately. Okay. Officer on special duty, Research Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister. Okay. Chalo, God bless you. One of you will write after some years and I will teach on the class. Okay. The concept of meritocracy, wherein individuals are rewarded and advanced based on their abilities, achievements and hard work rather than the social status or background, has been extensively debated. Okay, meritocracy बहुत debate में है, that you must reward people according to their ability, their achievement, their hard work, rather than in terms of status or background. Proponents and critics of meritocracy offer compelling arguments about its impact on society, highlighting its virtues and shortcomings. The evolution of meritocracy has witnessed significant transformations, influenced by the critiques and analysis of thinkers such as Michael Young, Michael Sandel, and Adrian Woolridge. If I was in your place, I would go back and look at who they are. And brief में ये क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं? It's always nice to enrich yourself with these kind of references. Okay? So meritocracy debate में है. अभी बताएं. See, in the first paragraph, the writer has given me a brief idea about what will he discuss. He's discussing, okay, the concept of meritocracy and what are the debates around it. Actually, I was surprised. इसमें debate क्या हो सकता है यार? In a society that we reward ability and talent and hard work, इसमें debate क्या होना चाहिए? It's open shut case. But he says कि नहीं, इसमें debate है, इसमें complexities हैं. Watch this. Young, a British sociologist, foresaw a dystopian meritocratic world in his satirical book, The Rise of Meritocracy. He envisioned a future, specifically 2034, a society where social class and mobility were determined solely by intelligence and effort, as measured through standardized testing and educational achievement. मैंने एक society में, who are the good ones and who are the bad ones, who must progress and who must not progress, it is decided by a test. जो अच्छा कर रहा है, he has merit, promote him. जो नहीं कर रहा है, it's okay to keep him behind. This is an example of a dystopian society. Okay, now look up the word. What does the meaning of the dystopian society? What is the dystopic world? Look this up. Okay, कि एक society में अगर social achievements and social, I'll say goods and bads are decided by a performance in terms of merit. बेटा बहुत लोग यहाँ पिटने वाले हैं. Okay, the whole problem क्या है? In system of education, why are we removing examination marks? एक ये reason है. Those who do very well, A1, A++ students, toppers, पूरा ध्यान उन्हीं पे रहता है. बाकी लोग पीछे मरते रहो. Keep on doing whatever, 10 साल के बाद में IAS दे देना. Right? An example of we are creating divide in society. If I focus only on meritocracy. I repeat, he was envisioning a future, a society where social class, mobility are determined solely by intelligence and effort, as measured through standardized testing and education achievements. It was a critique of then emerging trend towards merit-based systems, which he feared would lead to a new form of social stratification. Those who don't have skills, those who come from different backgrounds, those who lack some competencies, आप उनको पूरा अलग कर दोगे, and will justify that they don't deserve to be part of the gain society makes. Debate हो रहा है, right? हम तो टैक्स दे रहे हैं, सारा टैक्स जा रहा है ओडिशा बिहार को. Why? Okay, they are not meritocracy, they don't deserve. हम वो काम करते हैं, I must take my benefits. एक दिखाई दिया आपको? Okay, we are the ones working hard. Okay, and I'm not getting seats. आप सीट देते हो, किस देते हो? Those who are not working hard. देखिए, an example, the society now has a new levels of stratification. Sanders' critique focuses on divisive consequences. एक चीज realize करते हो? When I decide कि meritocracy is the basis होगा, I can easily tweak the tests to ensure some people will qualify, others will not. Can I do that? Can I not make a test? Okay, मैं कहा ये टेस्ट लो आप, और टेस्ट को मैं आराम से ट्विस्ट कर दूंगा, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. Who will qualify and who will not qualify? Simple example, UPSC में. Okay, I will simply change the level of grammar, the level of vocabulary in your reading comprehension. I have removed entire lot of India's rural population. फिर जो करना है करते रहो. Right? You have humanities. अभी मैंने एक और टोन में बात किया. UPSC has no obligations for employment generation. But who I want to qualify, I can always tweak the criteria. I'm referring to one lady called Margaret Mead. I think it was Margaret Mead. She is an anthropologist. She was asked, what are the evidences of civilization? क्या देख के बोलते हो that this is a civilized society? She is an anthropologist, historian, and all of that. It was she or was it Yuval Harari? I forget. Anyways, उस किताब में reference है. She said, the symbol of civilization is not how you make your house, is not whether you have trade or not, it's not whether you have planning or not. The symbol of civilization is if I find a grave or a dead body ka remains where a fractured femur has healed and the person has lived long. He says that is civilization. What's femur? Your thigh bone. Animal kingdom में अगर कोई animal का femur टूट जाएगा क्या होगा? The animal will die. Nobody will hunt for the animal, correct? It will become a prey. In human civilization, if femur breaks down and the femur has healed and the person has lived long, का मतलब क्या है? Somebody was there to take care of him. ये फर्क है between a society which is human civilization and an animal kingdom. Very profound, no? Okay. A civilization is culture. Okay. A civilization comes from that humanitarian spirits. It comes from care and concern. That's what makes us human being, unlike the animals. Animals, it's the law of the jungle. So if you look at meritocracy, आप deny कर दे रहे हो a population who you think is not good enough. Look up what's the meaning of eugenics. In eugenics, you try to better the human race by focusing on traits which are superior traits. Okay, that's what Hitler did. The Roma population was considered to be less human. हटाओ, मार दो इनको, खत्म करो. Okay, the Jews are considered to be less human. They lack skills. हटाओ इनको. The world cannot take burden of these lowly creatures. Let us support the people who are, according to Hitler, the more refined, deserving populations. ये dangerous trends हैं. So meritocracy can always be tweaked. It says, Sanders' critique focuses on divisive consequences, arguing that meritocracy fosters a sense of entitlement among the successful and resentment among those who left behind, thereby eroding social cohesion. मैं इंटेलिजेंट हूं, मुझे मिलना चाहिए, this guy doesn't deserve. हो गया डिवीजन, काम खत्म हो गया. And generations together हो जाएगा ये वाला. Okay. Critical theorists, including those from Frankfurt School, also argue on similar lines by critiquing meritocracy as masking deeper power dynamics and inequalities. They say meritocracy can perpetuate social hierarchies by legitimizing the status of elite under the guise of fairness and neutrality. Meritocracy can be used as a tool where the elite populations, okay, can divide society in the name of being fair and neutral. मैंने कर देना है criteria who is a meritorious one. Somebody who scores 100% in mathematics, somebody who knows computer languages, maybe 10 or 15 of them, somebody who can read, write maybe Sanskrit and Persian and German together, somebody who has a very strong physical, okay, say body constitution and also plays sports and won gold medal. He's a meritorious guy. बाकी सब बाहर निकलो. You don't deserve to be here. धरती पे बोझ हो आप लोग. Half the earth में आप लोग खत्म कर देना है पहले. You see how your thinking changes now? So meritocracy, and if I use computers on this, ये और खतरनाक है. I can program computers to churn out who we want to support and ignore all the rest. Okay? Okay, pro-structuralists, okay. In contrast to Young's dystopian vision of meritocracy, leading rigid caste systems, Sanders' emphasis on moral and social repercussions. Woolridge lays stress on practical evolution of meritocracy in reforms, okay. Fine, I always want to lead this, and isme next page mein series of reasons how AI can help or also probably can be the culprit also. Okay, so topic is science and technology. Topic is AI, but the treatment of this is from the social angle. So if I ask you about what are the impacts of AI in society, एक नया dimension खुल गया आपका. Not the regular ones, loss of jobs types. All fine? Chalo, I think I have primed enough. The objective is not to finish off a course and article. The objective is to start you thinking on some lines. Yeah, online, I hope you learned something in the process. Okay. Again, some of you will take time to get the hang of this, but karte raho. I'm very optimistic. You stay in the process for 2, 3, 4 months. I hope your thinking in state education will change. Okay, good, nice. My wishes to all of you. Happy weekend and finish all your backlogs. Okay, finish synopsis, whatever, or kapde वटे भी धो लेना कल. Okay, once in a week chance मिलता है. Yes, we'll have it next week also. Correct.